Here's what a county employee said about Parump's newest homeless shelter.
They were soliciting convicts from other parts of the state. There's plenty of evidence to back that up. Yes, there were children on the property when the police department was there with people that had been convicted of sex crimes.
Shut down by the planning board, reopened by the Nye County Commission recently, up on Simpkins and Route 160, and I'll let you know everything that happened in this video. And let me sum it up in 10 seconds so you have perspective as we go through this. Nye County Sheriff's Department investigated a homeless shelter with criminals and sex offenders living with children. Planning board revoked their license to operate. Then the Nye County Commission comes along January 17th, 2024, opens the homeless shelter back up again. Now it's back in business and is very capable and legally able to go back to soliciting convicts from Los Angeles or Las Vegas or wherever. And I'll break the whole thing down for you so you can understand with video from the meetings, of course, and documentation. So there's an old hotel, I guess, up on Simpkins and Route 160, and it's been operating as a homeless shelter. And as you saw on the intro video that I'll play the whole thing in a second so you can see it. Convicts, or at least it's being said, convicts getting out of jail, some of them convicted of sex crimes, they're living with children. And by the way, this is what you get when you attempt to create a welfare state out of Parump. This is what some people in this town want this town to be known for. And that's why we're slowly transforming Parump into this kind of taxpayer-funded caretaker of everyone else's homeless population. You know, dump your homeless population here, send them to Parump, and that's kind of what we're positioning ourselves right now for. And I'm going to show you the video in a second of the weird criminal history being discussed by the county employee talking about the sex offenders living here with children present. But we're going to do things just a little differently with this video for you. I'm going to show you the planning board meeting first, not the commission meeting. And that's from the planning board meeting, by the way. So first, the planning board that revoked the license for this place. And remember, again, sheriff came in. That's step one. Step two, planning board revoked the license. Step three, Nye County Commissioners put him back in business. So first, you're going to see the planning board that revoked the license for this place, then the county commission that decided to overturn that decision. So remember the order. First, sheriff department raids homeless shelter, then planning board shuts down homeless shelter, then commissioners reverse everything and put them back to where they were. And this is after, the video here is after the sheriff raided the homeless shelter where the planning board revoked their license.
Bottom paragraph, what the place was being used for was not for drug treatment or housing. They were soliciting convicts from other parts of the state. There's plenty of evidence to back that up. Yes, there were children on the property when the police department was there with people that had been convicted of sex crimes. Whether or not they were with children or minors, I couldn't tell you. But there were definitely children. It's on body cam. It's in reports. So I wanted to make that correction.
I just want to mention some things that were brought up. Mr. Esposito mentioned that there were people that were using that address that are not really living there. That's a felony for felons and sex offenders. And that's one of the reasons that I was up there at that facility investigating multiple people. I think it was last month, somebody was arrested there when I went for being there, not registered at that facility. He was released. He went right back to the facility and registered to that location. There's another individual that was just approved to live there and also a registered offender.
Now here, I'm going to play you the owner of this property. This is not the operator. There's the operator who's been removed. And we have a new operator who's, running the other homeless things here in town. And I'll get to that when I get to the commission meeting. But here's the owner of the property, and he's discussing his ownership of of this same homeless shelter.
So we have a master lease with a group that runs the program. and they pay, basically they pay as they go. This has not been a moneymaker for our company.
I beg to differ. Homelessness very much is a business. Halfway houses are very much a business.
Not saying we don't.
But that's what I'm trying to get to.
So now a new manager is coming in to manage the homeless shelter, and that's what this whole discussion is going to be at the Nye County Commission. Hey, we're bringing a new person in, same person overseeing it, but we're going to put an actual new practitioner in that building. And just so you know, that's the next step. And he makes this point about the program, he calls it, and how all the residents will come from Nye County. This is, again, planning board. Now get to the commission meeting. This is planning board. This is the owner. And he's talking about the program that he's saying will fix this old problem. So here's what he wants, and this is what he got, by the way, in the Nye County Commission. Here he is in November, planning board meeting, talking about the new program and how residents will come from only Nye County.
More question.
Yes, ma'am.
How many of your clients come from out of state or somewhere else?
Under
Nye County.
Under this new program, all would come from Nye County, under this new conditional use permit.
Okay, not much to say there, and it's pretty straightforward. If you look at the agenda that they put out, you see it right there in the conditions. And it says, first, residents must come from Nye County. And this was in the agenda as item number 7 on the November 15th, 2023 planning board meeting. And it was on the agenda as item 12, January 17th, 2024, Nye County Commission meeting. Part of the agenda, both of the agendas, there was nothing that altered this stated assertion. There was nothing that said that people outside of Nye County would be admitted under this new terms of the new program or whatever they want to call it. So right there for everyone to see, notice is given for all the Nye County citizens, all of us. The homeless shelter will serve only residents of Nye County. So if you're okay with that, if you think to yourself, I'm okay if we just serve Nye County residents, as long as we're not like the county employee. I didn't say it. The county employee said taking convicts from other parts of the state and bringing them to Parump. Then you probably didn't go. You probably saw that and think, well, okay, that's been fixed, so I don't have to worry about that, since we won't have people from California or Miami or wherever. So let's forward now to the county commission meeting. This is a few months later, a few months after the owner of the homeless shelter said, no, only Nye County residents will be served.
This is a land use issue. You really can't dictate how it's operated. And also, I will tell you that you would not be able to put a condition on that it serve as only Nye County residents. That would be very much in violation of the laws. And as much as I may disagree, unfortunately, that is what the law is.
Okay, so it would be really nice if on the agenda that was explained to people, but people had no proper notice of this. So people had no notice whatsoever of this. Unless you were at that meeting, you had no idea that people all over the world could come to this and it would be somehow illegal. This is why people distrust government. And it's probably happened ever since there was government. Here is Ron Boscovich from District 4, and I know Ron pretty well, so just want to disclose that to you. Here he is asking the question at the commission meeting from the new operator who's taking over. Of course, same owner, same situation, same homeless shelter, same rules, same everything, except only Nye County residents this time, but then that was taken away. Now, Ron Boscovich wants to know how this new operator could defend this guy who had these sexual predators and children in the same homeless shelter. How can you defend the previous operator? And remember, these people are appealing and saying, hey, look, we've changed everything. We got this new rules and everything's going to be different now. Here's what the new person, I guess in control, new operator, had to say when Ron asked her this.
The previous operator, I know that at certain points you defended him and his actions.
I'm not going to say that he was wrong for trying to help those individuals coming out of jail to have a second chance.
This person, the new operator, doesn't want to say it's wrong to do what led to sexual predators and children living in a homeless shelter together. When our county government hands over tax money and allows Democrat activists to engage in liberal experimentation policies that put out-of-state convicts or statewide convicts here with local people in our community, And then don't even admit it's wrong to do that. We're on a very bad road here to very bad things in our future. And now we're being asked to trust this person with more of the same. And that's exactly what the commission did. Voted yes to reopen the doors.
Any further discussion, board? Call for the vote. Call your name out. Strickland, aye.
Moskovich, aye.
Jabor's aye.
Cox, aye.
That motion carries 5-0.
We are positioning ourselves to create a liberal welfare state to serve Las Vegas, and this will transform Parump fundamentally in every single way possible. It's not the Parump you think it is if this goes unchecked. And here's our immediate future. Here's the same meeting. This stuff is going to be passed. There's no doubt in my mind. If we don't get change on that county commission, we don't change some of the members, this is what's in our future.
I know that there's a homeless task force that is being put together. I am working very diligently to try to see if there's a way that down the road we can look at a homeless shelter.
This is why I'm running for Nye County Commission in District 3. It's an open seat. I don't think we can survive more homeless shelters here in this town with the crime as it is now, with what's going on. Task force being put together with the goal of putting a new homeless shelter in. This means that we will be alleviating the burden from Los Angeles and Las Vegas. We'll bring their homeless people here, and the casinos in Las Vegas don't want homeless people hanging around. So if they can just send them to Parump, that's what they want. All of this can be reversed, and that's what we need to do. And I, as your commissioner, this would be my number one priority. Okay, I wanted to very quickly touch on the reason why I'm so strongly opposed to this, other than what you've seen, because it's important for you to understand my reasoning behind things. If I'm asking for your vote in the Republican primary in June 2024, you should, you're entitled to know my reasoning and how I feel about this stuff. And there's a couple things. First, I see the way homeless people are living out here in Parump, and yes, there are people profiting from this. It happens everywhere. I don't know if you can stop that. I personally don't understand how society can allow people to live this way. I've gone around, I've looked at some of these places where these people have, there was a fire the other day, and I saw the aftermath of it and how these people were living out there. These people need to be in some kind of institution that can control their medication and make sure they don't suffer on the streets. It's just not humane to put people like this, here's $100, hit the street, there you go, good luck. Maybe come back tomorrow for some soup. That's not compassion. Letting someone live like that, who may be mentally unstable or drug addicted, just to let them go out and just, hey, whatever you want to do, here you go, just hit the streets. It's very dark out there at night. These people could get hit by a car. These people, it's not compassion. This is not the place. This is a brutal place. Parump is a brutal place to put somebody who has no home just wandering around in the field. And of course, this county's struggling with ethics. 3 guilty ethics elected officials, guilty of ethics charges just the last couple of years. My second objection to this, the issue we have here is a pretty simple one. And I've said this before. We have 3 ambulances in town, I've been told. We might have 2 more. I'm not really sure exactly how that works. But in any event, we have very few ambulances. So in case we have a few others, that doesn't really change things. We have a lot of people in this town and few ambulances to serve Parump. And let me make a point here. I have friends in other places in the country. And it's one thing to say, oh, well, here's another town with, it's got 35,000 people and it's got a similar number of ambulances. That may be the case, although I don't know. But the problem here is that they have all of these communities surrounding the 30,000 person town that can respond in the case of emergency. We have nothing. We're out on our own in the middle of nowhere. We don't have police backup like other communities do. We don't have. So I remember in Boston, you'd see, or Brookline, there's a place called Brookline, Massachusetts. You'd see Boston police come in every once in a while. If there's a problem or something going on, they can't handle it, they'll just call in for help, and they're right across the border. We don't have that luxury. So that's a problem. We don't have enough ambulances. And to bring people in who are literally sick, who literally need help in medical care, that's why they're here. with serious medical care issues and have a very high chance of needing an ambulance puts at risk the entire community. If one of my neighbors can't get an ambulance because someone's overdosing on drugs, being driven somewhere, this is something that, and I think about this a lot, this is going to cause a crisis here. And I've campaigned on more funding for police, and I haven't talked enough about the fire department. We need to use these federal grants instead of attracting more people who need medical care that we don't have. We need to support our fire department a little bit better, making sure that they have the tools they need in order to protect us. Very simple stuff. And I will never vote yes on any taxes. We're taxed enough. In fact, we're taxed too much. And then there's some bad laws at the state level that force us to overtax residents. And this is how we kind of lose things. I don't want to get into that. It's a very long conversation. I've been fighting that battle for many years over some of these things. There's these rainy day funds, they used to call them. I'm not sure what they call them now, where you just overtax people and then the money just sits there and then the government can earn interest on the money. But it's our money. It's overtaxation, which I'm so against. But this kind of thing, it's a dangerous game of Russian roulette here. We spin the wheel. We may not have enough ambulances. We really don't know. It's completely irresponsible to import people who need serious medical care when that's the reality. So I, as your commissioner in District 3, would be very much for bringing in new medical providers to town. We need new doctors, new nurses, new ambulances, new paramedics. We need to attract these kinds of professionals. But they're not going to come here if they think that all they're going to do is be treating homeless people who've been imported here from all over the state and all over the country. Put yourself in that position. We're going to lose good people, and we're not going to attract new people. So I hope that clears up my position on all this. I hope you understand what happened, why it happened, and we'll talk again soon. I'm Ian Bayne, and I authorized this message.